Today is a special class, right, on building reusable objects and writing test script. There are a few people from the 7th sem, they also joined, preparing for the placement interviews and all. This focuses on software testing. And this is also a part of CTA assignment for software engineering people, right? I have put it in a Google class so people can go through all the things. In a Google class, if you look at that, there's assignment number 9. I have put it model-based testing, right? So you have enough time till October 30th. You can do it. It's a implementation based. You people, okay, work on this. Now let's look into that. I'll create a scenario, right? There are two persons. You have to do it in a group. You have a projects group, in a project group, okay, maybe 4 people, right? Two one group and under two another group. So do it, okay, something like this, right? So now one group is called a tester group. See, look at the task that is given to them. Design a test routine to test a system whose class name is RSA repository. You're being given a class by your, okay, other two friends, that is another group within the same project, and they have given you design specification and class, okay, dot class file is given to you, and you are supposed to build test script for this. How do you go about this? And this is the topic that we are going to discuss. Now, design specification of each interface of the class is described below. Look at that. It has got three interface in the sense object has a methods, functions you call, methods you call, interface you call, services you call, whatever that you call. Let's call the services offered by this object called RSA underscore repository, right? Now look at that. One of the service is store. So what it does is it takes input x, an integer, okay, and stores the parameter on the top of the repository. Now look at that top of the repository, right? Repository is there. It is always keeps on the top of that. So it is nothing but last in, first out, okay, memory, which is nothing but your stack. But I don't mention the term stack here. But for all practical purpose, it is a stack. But what it does after storing this, I don't call it a push. Storing this, okay, it returns an integer object. Look at that. It is a returns an integer object. Now what it contains? The integer object with the code, right? 1 for success, 0 for failure, and 2 for repository out of space. Right? This is the response that you get it, and accordingly, the people who call this store, they have to catch the integer object, okay, intercept this one, and accordingly action is to be taken, right? So in software engineering, okay, the one of the programming practices, every function, I'm talking about the reusable object, every function is going to return, every method is going to return the status response. It is not going to print on the screen. Say every reusable object doesn't read anything from the keyboard and doesn't write anything on the screen. That object is to be used by some other environment, right? So is this assignment. So the store interface in the sense that not the Java interface I'm talking, the store method, store function, store interface, store service offered by this particular RSA repository object takes integer parameter, puts it on the top of its repository, and returns an integer object. Remember, okay, it is in Java, and which contains a code 1012, 1 representing successful storage, 0 represent a failure, whatever may be the reason, okay, 2 represent the repository out of space, right? The second interface is retrieve, right? It removes the top of the repository and returns it as a string object. Whatever may be the content storage, it returns a string. If successful, if successful, right? Failure for unknown reason, if fails for unknown reason, and repository empty if a repository is empty. Now please look into that, right? Here, it gives a message along with retrieved object also, right? That I need to do the amendment here. I forgot to do that. Then third service offered by the RSA repository object is display. When you call a display, it returns a vector object containing all elements of the repository. And okay, it doesn't display it on the screen. It is something like your display routine written for the stack. Retrieve is something pop. It doesn't display on the screen what has it has popped. It is a person, it is a calling program, it is a program which is calling this. It has to ensure, take the return value and work on that. What to do? So now look into that. These services are built in such a way that okay, it takes a parameter by from the calling object, calling function, stores it. Okay, and calling program when it calls retrieve, it returns a string, and calling program when calls a display, it returns a vector. It doesn't display anything on the screen. Okay, this is the one fundamental okay property of a reusable object, because the RSA repository, it doesn't run on its own. Okay, it is something like a package, it is something like a library, right? So you include that particular class in your program, and all services offered by it, you can use it. Something like okay, system.out.println. What is system.out.println? Okay, you please go through, try to dissect it and see that what kind of things are there. The println is a service offered, right? System.out is an object, right? So you are including some library there so that you could use system.out.println. Similarly, RSA underscore repository is to be included, right? And use these services. So on its own, okay, this repository object doesn't read anything from the keyboard, doesn't write anything on the right screen. This is the property of reusable object, right? Now let's look into, though it is a stack, but we call it as a, this is the one group, this is assignment, okay, city assignment, you will be writing a test script. Two, okay, students, okay, person, a group from the project group of 4 members. The other 2 people, you have to build this particular okay, class file. How to do that? That also I'll tell you. They are called programmer group. Now, the system called RSA repository, right, module is to be developed, component or the object. Okay, it's better the object is appropriate word, is to be developed for remote sensing application, which provides a facility to store and retrieve a retrieval of remotely sensed data. They're all integers, right? Design specification of each interface of the class is described below. Just now I discussed about that, right? All these things are there and you are supposed to build it, right? Right. So what you do was your okay routine project group. There are 4 members. Make a 2 member one group. Right. One group will act as a tester. Another group will act as a developer. Okay. One group will develop something as per this specification and give only .class file and this specification to the tester. They will be writing the test script to test that whether as per specification the object has been built or not. That is the main part of the testing that you are going to see now, right? But how to do that? But before that, let's look into the developer part of that, then get into the testing part of that, right? This is called model based testing. But model, okay, we need to model this particular object, then model based testing can be performed. Now let's get into work concept, right? Now programming part I will tell, then I'll get into the testing, right? Now look into that programming. So you have a class called RSA repository. All naming conventions, whatever that has been taught by your teachers of object-oriented programming, please follow this, right? RSA repository is the name of the class. Then all instance variable, class variable, whatever that you wanted to do, okay, put it here. Okay, hope by this time you know the difference between the instance variable and class variable. Whenever you create the instance, okay, of this RSA repository, right? This is the class. Class is a representation of abstract data type, right? When you create instance in a program, they're called object. So every object has got its own okay variable. They're called instance variable. But there are some variables, okay, which if you declare with the static, okay, they are shared among all right object created out of this particular class. They're called class variables. Hope you all know about all these things. These all fundamental aspects are very essential in every course that you study, which will help you to prepare for the placement better and strengthen your fundamentals so that you can play better, right? Please do not, I mean, there are different aspects. Okay, one is syntax, sorry, one is problem solving, the other one is syntax of a given programming language, third one is principles of programming language, and the fourth one is application development. If you are very good in all these three, the application whatever you develop, that will be sound, right? Otherwise it has lot of, okay, the, you can say, air bubbles, which makes it, okay, not acceptable to industry. Now look at that. You have got uh, interface, methods, functions, right? Services. I use, right, two terms. One is services offered by this, or the interface of this particular, okay, object, or the methods, right? Interface is not Java interface that we are all talking all about. Now look at that store, right? The plus indicates you all people know about that. Okay, it's a public, right? Retrieve is a public, vector is display, display returns a vector, it is a public. Retrieve, okay, returns string, it's a public. Store takes an integer parameter, returns integer object, public. And if at all you have some other housekeeping services function you want to add, right, you can add it and make it private. That's why in one of my training program I told, can the method be private? Yes, it can be private, but it's used for housekeeping work. Okay, outside environment cannot access this private methods and all. Usually all methods are public. Okay, and all variables must be, okay, private only, then only it makes sense, right? Then only it makes sense. You cannot make a public variable, because, right, if you make a variable public, the very object oriented concept you are violating and all these things. All right, related to all these things, the video is available to here and all, you can run it and get into. But now when you talk about the model based, the stack design, model based implementation, right, as a part of the data structure, right, you which you have done it, you have to go for the design and do it. That's why it's called, when we go to the second part, testing, we say model based testing. What's a model? Model represents a reality. It is something like a blueprint, right? Entire behavior is captured. How do stack work? What is the behavior of the stack? Okay, so far you understood in a very plain language. Now let's understand in very, okay, the designer's language, scientific language, right? And in fact, every code henceforth, whatever you do, you should go for the designer language represented, then go for, okay, implementation. Let it be a small, simple thing, adding two numbers, have a design, right? That's the video is available here. You people can go through about that. Now, part of that video, okay, the screen I have captured here and I put it, and in fact, it is nothing but a stack. But wherever the term stack is there, I have removed it and I called it as a repository. Now look at that. The how do my stack or my repository behave? Okay, I use a model called state diagram, and you have to design using only the state diagram for the stack, and consider that you have a capacity of two elements for simplicity. Now, okay, how many states are there? You have gone through the finite automata formal language. That's a fundamental course for digital electronics, fundamental course for computer network, fundamental course for software engineering things, where you are going for the model design of models and model based testing. It is also a fundamental subject for software testing. Now look into that. So how many states are there? It is a, okay, inherent integral part of a problem statement itself. There is no litmus test that tells you. But here you know that in stack it is very simple. Stack is empty. Stack is not empty, not full. NANF, stack is full. These are the three different state. Then what are three different, okay, services? Okay, one, now look at that. Let me, okay, highlight here. It is an image. Oh, okay, marking, I can't do it. So when you enter the state diagram, you start it, you get into the empty state by default. Your pop message, when you call pop at this stage, it has to give error message saying that repository is empty. When you display that one, it should be an empty display, right? Whenever you push, it will take a stack from empty to not full, not full, not empty, not full state. Here, when you display the single element, it has to display, right? And when you pop, it has to go into the empty state, and whenever you push, it has to get into the full state. In a full, when you, okay, push, it should indicate an error saying that, okay, there's no space here. Okay, then when you display, it has to show the two element which you have pushed, right? When you pop the top one, it will take and it get into this. This is a state diagram of repository which has been described, and this is a designer's language. Even in third semester data structure, when you go for that, you have to get into this. I would like to recollect one of my student, Basavaraj Manangi. He asked me, when do you teach software engineering? Is it in fifth sem? Is it in sixth sem? No. It is to be taught whenever you do programming, solve a problem in starting from first semester itself. All relevant things. It could be a flow chart, it could be algorithm, it could be certain models like a state diagram, right? It could be right data flow diagram, it could be process diagram, it could be any diagrams, any relevant diagrams, ER model, design of databases, tables and all, whatever that is, design of user interface, all possible combination relevant required in that particular problem statement context scenario had to be used, right? Please develop a practice that one without a design. Today you take oath without a requirement, without a clear problem statement, without problem clear design and all, you will not do programming. Otherwise you are you have all the wrong practices that's following that. Right, now I'll quickly move to that one. Having done this, you write a program, right? You write a program so that the program should behave like this. And as a programmer, you also do little bit basic testing. It works and all. Now look into that. Now I'll get into testing, model-based testing, which is an assignment for software engineering, fifth semi, as per the syllabus, PEM, both A and B division. PEM model of our syllabus speaks about that. How do you make this reusable component? Already I told you, when you develop a class doesn't read anything from the keyboard. A class doesn't write anything on the screen. It takes a parameter from the external environment, right, and puts into that. Whenever you retrieve, it gives output to the external environment. It cannot run on its own. It has to work in other program. Now, having got the design, you as a tester, you will get the behavior design, something like this. You will get to the class diagram design. You get this for tester, and you get the description of the design. I'll modify this, right, in this way. Having got all these things developed by your two other friends, a programming team, you as a testing team, how do you write a test script? You write a test script, right, to ensure that the class developed by other your friends are correct as per the design, as per the specification. Design is given by some other group, specification is given by some other group, right? You as a programmer, you program it as per this design. You don't have rights to do any changes, but you can suggest the changes. Are you getting this? This is again given by somebody. You see, requirement is one group, design is another group, programming is another group, testing is another group. These are the different caps that you will find in our organization. But many times it may so happen that one person will wear all the caps: requirement, design, right, implementation, testing. That's how some of the organization you will see that also more than one responsibility. Now let's get into having gone through this. This is what I said, reusable component. Now, how do I write a test script? I'll write my class. This is again a pseudo code. Don't ask me, right? Is it Java program? Is it C++? It is C and all. Yeah, I'll leave it to you. The pseudo code. Now, I need to develop my test class, right? Please remember, this is a temporary, right? I'm writing my test script, right? I'm not using any tool. As a tester, you'll be asked to use a tool. As a tester, you have to do manual testing. As a tester, you have to do code walkthrough. As a tester, right, you have to develop your own program which will be used. Now look at that. Look at my hand. You'll be developing this code, temporary code, which is not part of the product, which is used to test this particular, right, this particular object by feeding the input and taking an output, right, and declaring that this the inner object is working fine as per the design specification. The outer one, which is rotating, is a program written by you. In this case, it is called class my test. And inner one, you will see now, it is a dot class file developed by other your friends. And this other than dot class file, I don't have anything. right? So when you install this, when you install any software, you will see on the screen, okay, phase 1 is cleared, phase 2 is cleared, phase 3 is cleared. When you, okay, power on the Unix operating system, you will get lot of test message on the screen. Memory is tested, device is tested, okay, the init process is running, right? Otherwise sometimes failure and stop it. This is what it's doing. It is, okay, testing all the operating system environment, bringing that into live actions and making the operating system available to you. So my class, my test, whatever you see with the yellow patch here, it should work like that. So what is that you are doing? Okay, the RSA repository class, whoever has developed it, you include in that one and create an instance of that. Create an instance of that in your these things. But the code of RSA repository is not with you. Then you have a design specification in the form of state diagram, design specification in the form of a class diagram, and interface specification in the form of a description, right? All these things. That's why when you do refer the manual in Unix operating system for any system call, you'll find that name of the system call, all parameters, return value, description of the return value. This is a professional approach of writing a report on any program that you develop it. Please follow all the things. Make your life very disciplined one, right? So more you disciplined, your work will be, okay, good, and you will enjoy your work. Whatever the small work you do, you will really enjoy it, and that joy will make you learn better. If you're not enjoying whatever you are doing, it is simply eating grass. Okay, you don't get a protein, right? Right. Okay, now I was, okay, talking about that. Now how do I build a test cases? How many test cases are there? I need to, right, test pop, push, display, or store, retrieve, and display when stack is empty, 3 test case. Then when stack is not empty, not full, again same 3, push, pop, and display, store, retrieve, and display. And when stack is full, I need to, okay, test again, okay, the push, pop, and display, store, retrieve, and thus display. So 3 plus 3 plus 3, 9 test cases, how to build it. Okay, how to decide all the things that the behavior represented in this model speaks about that. And that's what you should have learned. All those who are, I mean, in 7th sem they are joined, you should have learned all these things in software engineering. This is a part of the syllabus, okay, and you have to go through that. You might have gone through that, but the people who are in 5th sem, you will go through all these things. This is the assignment, programming assignment. You must do it by 30th October. You have to submit it. Now the program, you have to do the comments in this way only. Test case 1, state is empty, and I'm checking display. Now out of the display, pop, and push, which one to do it? When you push it, automatically you go to the next state. So don't do that. Best thing is display or pop. Display, when you display that one, you know that stack is empty or the repository is empty. It should not return anything. It should, the vector should be empty. So the pseudocode like this. Okay, what I do is the return vector, return value vector, this one, s dot display I call. Then if the vector, whatever that is there, you navigate that. Okay, whatever the provision is there in programming language, check it, right? So if the vector v1 is empty, this is what is required. I'll display the message on the screen. Test case is not empty. Test case 1 fails, state equal to empty, service is display, it fails. So that this on the screen, whatever you get the message, with that it should help you to locate, okay, what is the problem. This screenshot of all 9 messages, you give it to the developer saying that, one gentleman, look at that, your program is not working, correct it. There will be dispute between the testing team and a programming team. Programming team always try to prove that one tester have not done correctly. Tester team is always, okay, complain that one programming team is not done correctly. That's what is the nature and reality, right? You give the all 9 printf and tell them that it doesn't work, right? If else repository is empty, right, then in that case you can say that test case 1 successful, state is empty, right, and services display, right. So all 9 such message will appear. All 9, if at all it is successful one, then the program written by your friend group programming team is correct, otherwise not. Then if all 9 are successful, what you have to do is you need to try all monkey activity you have to do it, right? Destroy the things, right? And learn from that. Destroying for learning with authorized destruction is accepted, right? What you do is tell a programming team to do some mistake, then ask them to give a dot class file, that whether your test script you are written outer program, it is called scaffolding, right? Will it work properly or not? It may so happen that the test script written it itself maybe may not be right. So do some mistake in the start program and give it to them, whether the outer test script, whatever you're writing, will it discover or not, right? This kind of game you have to do it between, right, among the two subgroups, that you have created, and learn this. And once you build that one, you will understand how a script can be written. And this is automation you can do it. Automation you can proceed. That could be one good project also, right? Good. Okay. Given a state diagram and description, right? Can you build automatic test cases? Oh, very nice project which we have created. It's not that simple, right? How input specification should appear, and your program should read that one and understand different state, understand different methods and all, right? Accordingly, automatically it should create, right? Fantastic project. If anybody wish to do that one, please come to me, right? I'll make my own faculty group team and assign it to you people. You can get into that. Got it, right? That's so. This is my test case 1, right? Other things are empty. Test case 2, and look into that. Test case 1, I have selected display. Test case 2, I should select for empty, right? Sorry, string retrieve, right? Then store. The moment I store that one, my object here, the object is right here. Yes, object. Yes is a instance of RSA repository. Will go to the state 2. That is state case repository, not empty, not full. Got it? So now empty 3 cases. Last one is store. The moment you store, next one you will check it. Again display. Whatever you have stored in the previous thing, whether it is there or not, you check it. Retrieve it. Then again store. You will get into the third state, full. Again display. All 2 elements should be there. Right? Okay, display. Now, I'll change this. I need to change here. Right? Okay. One is display. Right? Other one is retrieve. And again bring it back. Right? I need to change all these things. Okay, all I'll put it copy paste error, right? I'll do that and put it to you all people. So like this, there are 9 test cases you have to build, and 9 messages should appear on the screen. All 9, if they are successful, then the program written reusable component is tested correctly. So there are 2 learning here: how to build a reusable component. Second one is how to write a test script for a given model. Here model is state diagram. Model based testing, that what we speak about that. This is called handholding. I wanted all 5th semester people do it. If you do it by 30th October, build a nice report, right? Then submit it. I think your programming capability has gone one step ahead. Ideation, what we were talking, has gone one step ahead, right? Application development stage has gone one step ahead, right? And I don't like people, right, coming and saying that when my program is working, check it whether it's working or not. No. Why? If your program stack is working fine, build a test script like this and check it and all, report, attach a report that all test cases passed. And it is not only 9 test cases, 9 times running. It is not single run, but 9 messages. But you introduce error, known error, programmed error, whether your test script will reveal that or not, that is another important thing. Okay, introduce error so that test case 1 should fail. Introduce error so that test case 2 fails. Introduce error so that test case 3 fails. All 9 failure separately we introduce. So there are 9 times you have to run it by introducing 9 errors. Then 1 for all correct, right? So minimum 10 separate report on sample input output has to be there. Are you getting it? Right? That's how you perceive. This is the one of the model based testing. Even right, the body of knowledge, IEEE and ACM body of knowledge on software testing speaks about that. Your syllabus should contain model based testing discussions and all. That's what when we have removed software testing and integrated in software engineering, there are a lot of discussions that we have done it on this, right? So how software engineering should take care of that. Got it? And this also called learn by practices. If you do not do this, and if you write everything, say description in an exam, and get 10 out of 10, 10 get a S grade and all, it's not good for placement. Grades are of no use. It is only get pass. Are you getting it? So can you do it? Can you do it? Right? So that's what is today. That again, the first part I'm going to share with you. After the second part, only fifth semester A division people will participate. All some people who are joined, okay, they can stop here now. But now the platform is open for the discussion. Okay, anybody want to ask question, put in a chat box, and Arpita and Ashish will read that one and is open for discussion now. Manoj and Arpita, you can unmute. Rest all should mute, and the discussion begins. Manoj and Arpita, unmute and respond to my query. Ashish,
Yes, sir. There
Yes,
is a
sir.
read the questions from the chat box.
box.
Yeah, yes.
The person wanted to know about word vector.
Ha. Okay. Now look at that. Now we are moving from the okay turmeric to real life, right? And the vector, okay, is another object in Java. You will see it, right? It is a collection of object. Okay, you need to refer the vector and its variations, any other different name and all in Java, and try to see. It is a collection of object. It is something like an array, okay, array of an object, heterogeneous object, right? It is not necessarily similar object. It can be okay this, but please see that one what Java supports for this, right? Please go through the Java programming language manual. Got it? There are two aspects. One is designer aspect, other one is programmer aspect. Right now I told you about a designer object, vector. Right now, language selection. If the vector is not there in the language where you are writing test script, you have to change the language itself. But my class is this. It returns a vector containing object. Please go through the Java programming language. It is there. Arpita, I think I've answered to your question. Arpita?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There is
Okay.
another question.
Please.
Take in, but from
You are not audible clearly.
word.
Ashish, can you take up that particular question? Read it.
Yes, sir. Sir, the question is RSA repository doesn't take input from the user but from the external world. So,
True.
what is the external world?
External word is okay. For example, system.out.println. Out is an object, right? Or the library, whatever that you use. Library, whatever they use, you cannot run a library okay, on your. It cannot run on its own. For example, you are used get PID. Get PID, you have to use it in some other programming language, right? So outside word is the one which is a calling program, right? This is the library to be used. Okay, this is the program. This is called outside word, and this is the object. This object cannot run on its own. It is to be used, included like a library in other. Okay, this one outer one is outside word. This is a program again, and that program in this case you're writing a test script. In this case, in this example, whatever I said, right? You are here. I'll show you. Class my test script you are writing. This is the outside world. This is a program, right? Inside that one, you are using the instance S. The instance S is being used in my test class. My test is outside world for this object, yes. And probably you might have studied the composite object, right? The classroom is made up of students, right? Student, teacher are the instance. I mean, they are the objects which are included in the like a class. Okay, class, fifth semester A division class. Fifth semester A division class is outside world. And student objects, okay, teacher object, laptop object, tube light object, ceiling fan object, blackboard object, they're all part of this. This makes a class. Teaching learning environment class. Hope I've answered your question. Here, class my test is outside environment for the object which sits inside. Yes. Yes is an object which sits inside my test. My test is outside environment for this outer class. Manoj, sorry, Ashish, I think I've answered your question. Manoj is a CR of third semester. I'm sorry. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Any question?
So there's one more question. If store takes int, then why retrieve return statement retrieve return string in the example?
Yeah.
I didn't
Okay.
get the question.
So look at that. Look. That's a nice question. Designer has designed like this. Okay, that's the end of that. You as a programmer, why it is returning string and all? They wanted it. Why it is returning an integer object? Integer to ho sakta hai na? They wanted it. Why it is returning the vector? Can you make a life simple? No, it is a design given to you. That's all. Now we are exercising that. So we are developing our capability. If a design is like this, do it. Bus. That's all. We are in a learning phase. Right? If a design is given, can I implement it? Can I develop a script for that? That's all here, the capability we develop as a student during a learning part of this particular course. And in the true life also it happens. Designer will give something. Do as design says. That's all. In a home also your parents says, no, whatever I say, please do it. They don't add a please also. Parents don't add. Okay, Ashish, do what I say. Your mother say that. Your mother is a designer. Ashish is a programmer. Right? And your sister is a tester. You and your sister is a group. You develop something, your sister will discover that you have done wrong or right things. Got it? And together report it to your mother that look, everything is over. Ashish, did I answer your question?
Yes, it will answer.
Okay, that's good. Any other question?
No, sir, not yet.
Oh, not yet. Ashish, you are very smart. Not yet. No shoes. That should be the correct thing. Whenever anybody okay come across any question, just shoot at me, right? Through the phone, through the SMS, through the WhatsApp. You can call me, right? Or arrange one more session from your end. I will come and talk to you. See, please, all of you look at that. These are the depth, the deep learning we are getting into. Otherwise, we would have gone through the textbook version. So for all such things, if at all you wanted, you have to spend some extra time on Sundays. Right?
Yeah.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
So, Ashish, we are giving the best out of what you can imagine, okay, within our own okay things. So for that, you have to come for you all people have to come for extra. And it is a part of
Yeah.
this. The day all of you decide that no, we don't want, we want textbook, you tell us there won't be any extra session for you. Got it? This will have,
Yeah.
this
Okay.
is a one important thing which you'll be using in your advanced Java programming also. Right? Probably I'll request the concerned teacher, why don't you put this as one assignment there in your TAMOC? I request them. It's up to them to take it or not to take it. If they take it, okay, you can do it here, you can do it there, and so the time management, okay, load management, you can do better. Any question from 7th semester, okay, who are preparing for the placement interview tomorrow, okay, on testing, they can unmute directly and ask, bypassing Arpita and Manoj. Ashish. Anybody? And I gave an I mean, today at 3:30, you people, right? Some people, you have a session about testing. There I'll tell different aspect of testing, right? Today, now you understood about, okay, what is test script, how testing is done, right? Right, how design specification helps in building test cases and all. Test script, test script, when it is written, do you think that program should be ready then only the test script is written? No, this will go, this particular, what is that, this class my test will go without the RSA repositories being built, because design is ready with me. I'll keep myself ready, and probably next month you will build that RSA repository. Whenever you are ready, I'll apply this test script. So test script is not necessarily written right after the testing component is kept ready. No, it may go as a part of the design also. So if there are no questions, I think we will stop here. And fifth semester A division people, you will join at 10 o'clock again with 15 minutes break. Ashish, Arpita, if there are no questions, shall we stop here?
Yes, we will join at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, please look into that. This today we have studied building reusable objects and writing, okay, the test script. This is a part of an assignment CTA, which is there in the syllabus also, belonging to, this belongs to chapter number 4. But yet we have taken it because in our first chapter somewhere we said, okay, reusability based software development process. Somewhere we have referred it, right? Now this is the reusable component, that flavor we are giving to you ahead of time. When we go to the chapter number 4, okay, we will not touch upon this. Simply we'll give introduction of this and then get into other aspect of that, right? But this is not part of the IA1. It will go as a wherever it is being housed. 1 minute. I'll stop sharing the screen. 1 minute, all of you. Step back. We'll meet at 10 o'clock, 15 minutes break. As many as 53 students, okay, have participated. There are network issues. Earlier it was 60, like this. Good. Okay. Thank you once again. Right. Learn from me whatever that is possible. We'll meet at 10 o'clock today. I'm going to end the meeting. Bye.